Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to Queen Amadar TV Presents True Crimes. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Let me get this other chat started. It seems to have stopped. Okay. Let's see who we have in here. Hello, Vince I Am, Intergalactic Wit, Pearly, Eric, Melanated Brown, Judah Queen, SMCM, Rin, Pearly, okay, One Who Cares. All right, thank you all for tuning in. So let's go ahead and get into this nefarious story. And listen to this. An estranged husband slits his wife's throat and makes it look like suicide. He tries to make her lie, or he does make her lie and say it was suicide. Okay? And then after he gets caught, he hires a hitman to kill her. All right, clearly nefarious. Let's get into it. Everyone like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at QueenAmadar-Shakur. Also on Instagram at Divine_Goddess_27. Brighton and Patreon, Queen Amadar-Shakur. Melanated People, Queen Amadar-Shakur. And Twitter at DGoddess27. Now, a couple in the midst of a bitter divorce were the subjects of a television special over an attempted murder case that also involved hiring a hitman. Tiffany Mead from Davis County, Utah, called 911 back in 2013 and shared the fact that she needed assistance. She says, "My neck is bleeding." And at the time, the 22-year-old said to Shelly Campbell that she needed help really quick. Now, Campbell immediately grew skeptical when Mead described how she had attempted to kill herself. Because first of all, how many people try to kill themselves by slitting their own throat? I'm just saying. So Mead shared that both her and her husband and son were in the car at the time, and Campbell quickly began asking why he seemed so nonchalant about the incident, because the husband didn't even really seem concerned. Now, she even had to instruct Mead's husband, Chris Ertman, to use his own shirt to stop the bleeding. Mead would go on and inform the deputy paramedic, Jason Sorensen, that it was indeed her estranged husband who had actually cut her. She says, the operator says, "I knew she was in really bad shape. It was a really severe wound." This is what the paramedic says. I'm sorry. Says, "I knew she was in really bad shape. It was a severe wound. It was straight across her neck, all the way across, from ear to ear." And as the authorities tried to piece together what actually happened, Mead was rushed to the hospital, but not before making it clear that she didn't want Ertman around her child. So Ertman was detained, and soon after he was questioned by Sergeant Bob Thompson. Now, he claimed that he and his wife were in the middle of a divorce, having been married for 5 years. They had met that night, Ertman claimed, so he could give her child support. He can give her the check. And because the couple had 2 young children. He said, "We exchanged a few words, and I don't know how she did it. Being able to put a knife to your throat," he stated, acting like he didn't have a clue. But Sergeant Thompson had already noted that there was blood outside of the car on the door, and something seemed off. Now, detectives had learned that the two had actually met at a different park almost a mile away, and discovered a second scene where there was also blood. Now, for Sergeant Thompson, that confirmed to him that the altercation had started elsewhere rather than inside the vehicle. While he was questioning Ertman, Sergeant Thompson noted that the man showed little emotion as he talked about his wife. He wouldn't even ask if his estranged wife was doing okay, and was adamant that she was suicidal and had been taking antidepressant medication. Now, people don't commit suicide that way, and especially for a mother to do it in front of her child, that didn't make sense to me, says Sergeant Thompson. Thompson then charged Ertman with attempted murder after Mead made a miraculous recovery. Now, the mother of Noah and Wyatt still remembers how ghastly the cut was 5 years later. They say he went straight across and he stopped right before my artery on the side. So she would have been dead, honey, if he'd cut her artery, okay? Clearly nefarious. And he did this right in front of his own children. Now, Mead shared that the relationship between her and her estranged husband had grown so toxic they could only communicate via a text. She added, "He told me not to bring anyone. He kept reminding me to come alone, come alone." That's because he was about to kill her. The mother chose to bring 2-year-old Noah, and Erdman decided to change the location for the meeting at the last second at a more secluded park. And when they finally met, Mead stated that Erdman had this look and proceeded to push her back up against the car door. She said, "He had one hand on my mouth, and he pulled out something out of his pocket, and he slit my throat. And as he slit in my throat, he says, 'Shh, don't scream. Stay calm.' And I didn't scream. And I told him I was getting dizzy. So he opened my door for me so that I could sit." What? This all sounds so crazy. And he said, "You know what I want? Say it." So I said, "I love you and I'll be back with you." And then he said, "Seal it with a kiss." Now, after he slit this woman's throat, he wants her to say she loves him and she's getting back with him and please give me a kiss. This is clearly crazy. And he leaned in and he kissed me as blood's pouring out of my neck. It was Erdman's idea to come up with a story to tell the police, but Mead, who was concerned for her child's safety, just wanted to make sure she could get to a location where she could easily describe the scene. Now, driving with one hand on the steering wheel and the other around her blood-soaked neck, Mead made her way to the eventual spot where she would call 911. She said, "As soon as there was sheriffs around or between her and Chris, I let them know that he did this. He tried to kill me." Mead called her mother, Cheryl Mead, to come get her son as they rushed her to the hospital. Also crazy. People, please get the lights up. Now, she says, as I was lying there in the ambulance looking up at the lights, I was thinking, it's over. Noah's safe. I can die now. Mead explained how they met online, again with the dating sites. Again, with these dating apps, people, I tell y'all, there's some crazy people out there. Y'all gonna learn. Y'all gonna learn. Call me old-fashioned if you want. Mead explained how the two met online while she was a high school senior and Erdman was serving in the army based in Iraq. Now, they wedded 6 weeks later and quickly became parents. But Erdman was affected from his time serving and became physically and emotionally abusive. Around 2012, Mead finally grew the courage to flee her husband, taking the 2 children with her. Well, Erdman was furious and eventually lashed out. But the problems arose quickly, according to while Sergeant Thompson and his boss, Lieutenant Gene Daly, had difficulty locking in on the motive as to why he did this. They searched for a week, but ultimately failed at pinpointing the weapon used in the attack. Daly shared that she believes that while Mead was driving, Erdman threw the knife out the window and into a deep ravine. And to further complicate matters, the judge presiding over the case received an anonymous letter corroborating with Erdman's side of the story, and it had to be taken as credible evidence. So he obviously got somebody to write this. Now, investigators failed to pinpoint who the letter came from, but they, along with Mead, assumed that Erdman had something to do with it. Lieutenant Daly felt that something was off, but the case was off a bit about the case and feared that if she didn't find something to incriminate Erdman on, he would only get slapped with aggravated assault and would only have to serve a year in prison. So she began listening intently to his phone calls while he was behind bars, which inmates are notified as being allowed, and made a startling discovery while listening to a set of calls from 5 months after the attack in December. The leading investigator noticed that Erdman was keen on locating a man by the name of Raymond and had asked him if he had been reached on 3 separate occasions over the course of 2 weeks. They say, "I looked at the sticky pad, still had the name written on it, and I pulled it off, and I remember it was stuck to my index finger," says Lieutenant Daly. "And I walked down the hallway into Thompson's office, and I held my hand out and said, 'I need you to find this guy. Find him for me.'" Raymond, whose last name wasn't revealed, was found to have been a former inmate who was behind bars for a methamphetamine possession charge, but was now out on probation. Thompson and Daly questioned Raymond, who eventually disclosed that Erdman had admitted guilt to the crime. Raymond also shared that Erdman gave him a handwritten note that he was supposed to copy once he was free. That's the letter that said that she did it to herself. Saying that, he says, it was saying that I was his wife, saying that I was his wife to the judge that was presiding over the case, saying that she admitted that she lied. Okay, so wrote the letter acting like he was her, acting like he was Miss Mead, and acting like she wrote the letter herself saying that she did this. So clearly, this is all so crazy. Now, pay attention. He got a man who was in prison with him to write the letter, acting like he was the wife, and saying that, oh, yes, I did this to myself, and saying that she lied and that the allegations were all false. These psychopaths. Now, getting the acknowledgement that the letter may be an Ogden, Sergeant Thompson then pressed Raymond to share if Erdman had any plans against Mead. He says, he just asked me if I had the connection to arrange, for bad things to happen to her. I told him that I did not. He would later add that Erdman wanted him to arrange her death specifically. At that moment, we realized that this has gone to a whole new level, where we've got somebody who's in custody that is trying to orchestrate the death of his victim. This is what the prosecutor, Richard Larson, says. So we clearly had to do something about that. Now, investigators immediately alerted Mead of the revelation, who was beyond spooked. Investigators also told her that she needed to find somewhere else to stay. Now, she said, he wanted me dead. He wanted to have someone else do what he couldn't. I remember everyone was asleep, just sitting on the floor crying and rocking back and forth and wondering if I could ever leave the house again. And soon the letter was in the hands of the authorities, and they moved to have Raymond go in and speak directly to Erdman. Raymond was able to get Erdman to confess to getting the letter sent off, but couldn't coax the suspect into admitting that he ordered the hit. Seemingly running into a dead end, Lieutenant Daly grew disheartened until she was contacted by a jailhouse informant. Now, they say sometimes the unreliable inmate knew specific details pertaining to Mead's case, as he shared a cell with Erdman. So Erdman had clearly been sitting in the jail running his mouth. They say Chris is trying to get him to hire somebody to kill Tiffany. I almost fell off my seat because if anybody could do it, it's him. This heightened it even more for me, said Lieutenant Daly. Now, setting up a sting, Daly and her team set up to get a hitman and a detective operating under the name of Jim Kelly. They planned to introduce them to Erdman so that he would try the murder for hire plot with this person and get busted. Now, they had surveillance footage. Erdman hands his inmate friend a piece of paper that has Mead's address written on it to give to the hitman. So now he done hired a whole hitman, giving him the woman's address and all of this, clearly incriminating himself. And how stupid do you have to be saying things over the phone while you're in jail or prison? I mean, everybody by now should know that those calls are absolutely recorded. Now, the authorities had Mead pose for photos to simulate that she was being watched by the informant. And then they soon pressed but the informant soon pressed to be released from jail if he were to still catch up with Erdman. Kelly made his move without the informant and eventually got Erdman to acknowledge that he wanted his ex-wife killed and was willing to pay the hitman $5,000 to do the evil deed. Now, along with the attempted murder charge, prosecutors now added obstruction of justice and solicitation to commit aggravated murder. But while investigators worked tirelessly for a year to get evidence for the trial, Erdman took a plea deal and pleaded no contest. They said, yeah, I'll take the blame for it. This is what he says. I'll take the blame for it. I did it. But I was not in my right mind. See, they're never in their right mind when they do something nefarious, okay? Now he's playing crazy. He says, I'm not dangerous. This is what he said in court. He has attempted to cite PTSD as a cause for his behavior, but authorities believe he is only using that as a crutch and there is no actual diagnosis of such. Nevertheless, Erdman's plea deal means that he can face anywhere from 6 years in prison to life behind bars. Now, Utah law states that the Board of Pardons and Parole will decide his release. Both Lieutenant Daly and Mead plan to be at the hearings in hopes of keeping Erdman locked away for a long time. They say, I have to do everything in my power to keep this monster locked away. He'll come after me and my boys. There's no doubt in my mind. He'll finish what he started. Mead now lives life in a constant fear, but does get some assistance from the emotional support from family and a dog named Butters, and she's also remarried. She is also thankful for Lieutenant Daly, who she sees as having saved her life as a guardian angel. She moved to the mountains. First of all, I don't think they should have said that she moved to the mountains. Okay, even though they didn't give her address, they clearly shouldn't have said she moved to the mountains. But hold on, because there's video footage of this. I'm going to show you all in just a second. Everyone, please get the likes up. Please like and share. 5K for a hitman. You dumb as hell taking that offer. I mean, that's clearly crazy, right? That is absolutely crazy. Clearly, everybody knows by now that they usually charge $10,000. I'm just saying. Hold on, people. Okay, so everyone get the likes up. We're going to show this video of his interrogation. Hold on. Hold on. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Everyone, please like and share. Like and share. Here we go. I mean, he slit the woman's throat and then told her to lie and say it was suicide, trying to make her look crazy.
I'm thinking about 5K.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah. Have fun.
911, what is the address of your emergency?
I'm in front of Davis High School. I tried to commit suicide. My neck's bleeding. I need help quick.
What's your name?
Tiffany Mead.
Is anybody with you, Tiffany?
My husband and my son.
I noticed the car sitting there with a female sitting in the driver's seat and an adult male pacing back and forth. It was reported that they were going through a divorce, and when I saw the wound to her neck, I was pretty shocked at how deep and wide the laceration was. The baby was crying, and when she thought that we were going to hand the baby to her soon-to-be ex-husband, she just blurted out, "Don't let him take my baby. He's the one who did this." The male was named Chris Ertman. I took him into custody until we could sort out what was going on.
Why are you here tonight? Well, she tried to commit suicide and I tried to save her.
I have her statement to the officer saying you cut her throat.
She's a liar.
At this point, we're placing her under arrest for attempted homicide.
The next day, we received the call that Tiffany had made it through surgery. When I walked in Tiffany's room, she undid her bandage, and I could not believe the damage. It was shocking to me that she survived it.
He told me that if I wanted to get my child support check, that I would have to meet him. And so he got out of his car and he gave me a bear hug, and he just wouldn't let me go. And he put his hand over my mouth. And while he looked in my eyes, he slit my throat. And he said that the only way that he would let me get help is if we got back together. And so I told him that I would get back together with him. And then he sealed it with a kiss and kissed me. I was going to call 911, so he told me to tell them that I was trying to commit suicide.
We have to prove what the intent of the person was when they inflicted the wound beyond a reasonable doubt. What was unique in this case, though, is that it could easily be argued at trial that he wasn't trying to kill her, that he was just trying to manipulate her, and that the moment he felt like he had won her back, he would get her medical attention. The difference between aggravated assault and attempted murder is pretty substantial when it comes to sentencing.
He could serve 6 months to a year and he'd probably be out. In my gut, I knew something else might happen to her. It wouldn't shock me if he tried again. So one day I said, I want to listen to jail phone calls. Every day I would sign into that system and pray that there was something on that phone call.
Chris, what's going on? Write down this name, Raymond. Raymond? Yeah, tell him that I'm in here.
Wow, it's been almost 6 months, and this is the first time I ever heard you say anything about a friend. We realized there was a period of time that Chris and Raymond were housed together in the same block in our jail.
We wanted to find out from Raymond what the relationship was between the two of them.
When you were in our jail, did you get to know a guy named Christopher Ertman?
Oh, yeah.
Did he ever talk about the situation that he was in with his ex-wife and all that stuff?
There's a time to do what's right. This is one of those moments in your life.
Yeah. He just asked me if I had the connections for bad things to happen to her.
What are bad things?
To arrange her death, specifically.
Chris is orchestrating a potential hit on Tiffany's life from inside of a jail.
As much as we'd like to think that just because somebody's in jail, we've negated the threat that they are, that's not the case.
We decided to have Raymond go to the jail and see if we could get Christopher ordering the hit.
What's up, bro? Remember that work that you needed done?
Yeah.
Dude, I've got that guy, bro.
Okay.
We started making plans to send in an undercover officer to pose as the hitman.
To see if Christopher would indicate how serious he really was.
I've never worked a murder for hire case. Anytime you get approached to do something that's outside the norm, you get a little bit, excited. But I don't know if Chris is going to get on the phone with me.
Sending Clark in, this was it. Today was the day it was going to work or it was going to fail.
What's up, man?
How much are you?
Do you see that? Is that her?
Yeah.
Okay. So, make it happen.
Yeah, just, have fun.
Yeah?
Have fun killing my wife.
I'm thinking about 5K.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, man.
Yep, bye.
Yep.
I literally jumped out of my chair and I remember just like, yes, we got him.
I do think that Jen Daly is my guardian angel.
Okay, with that all being said, honey, he's clearly a fool. First of all, he's sitting there plotting a murder for hire while you're in jail, prison. And then he didn't get the least bit suspicious when the hitman only asked him for $5,000. Like, so he's going to do it at half price. Vince said, you would think this is a hella weird movie. No, it's real life. Right. Louise said the smoking gun. Okay. I mean, how easy was that? He was clearly stupid. Clearly stupid. And here's the thing, though. I want y'all to pay attention to what the prosecutor said. He said it was going to be hard to prove attempted murder, but that's why they're going to charge him with aggravated assault, because he could have just been trying to intimidate her. I'm sorry. If you slit someone's throat from ear to ear, that's attempted murder. And then said that he wanted her to just comply, and then he was determined that he would get her help. That's attempted murder. You slashed somebody's throat. I don't care what you were thinking at the time. You tried to kill them. Okay? Is it me? Does everyone in Utah look stank? Damn, the females are finished. Okay, October Opal. As Miss Lisa C would say, the high IQ people. Absolutely, right? What is really going on? Zilla says, wow, that was so nefarious. Now, he sat there and slit the woman's throat and then made her drive to another location. And then someone asked in the chat, how was she talking with a slit throat? I know, right? Ugh. If your throat is slit like hers was and you're talking, wouldn't it be opening and closing that slit? Oh my goodness, it just clearly gives me the creeps. Ray Williams says Ray Williams, that evil, satanic, crazy ace bastard was a cave dog monkey psychopath. Clearly he was nefarious, no less. Okay? That was just all said. She's lucky to be alive because just a few centimeters farther, he would have slit her artery and then she would have bled to death. Her husband was trying to give her a Colombian necktie. Okay? Oh, so crazy. So crazy. With that all being said, you all are laughing in the chat. Facts, attempted murder for sure. Yeah, they talk about aggravated assault. No, that's attempted murder. Somebody cuts your throat like that. What else could they possibly? So hold on. Here's how you know they stay on code. They said he was trying to intimidate her. If you want to intimidate somebody, you could just hold the knife to their throat and say you're going to cut it. You don't have to actually do it. Once you do it, that's attempted murder, honey. That far surpasses, intimidation at that point. I'm sorry. That far surpasses that. Please. Vince I.M. says these comments are epic. Flower Child says they should have known he was guilty when he didn't call for her. Right? He didn't even ask, was she okay when they came in to talk to him? Is she doing all right? Do you think she's going to live? I mean, he didn't ask any of that. He just went to talking about, oh, she's, suicidal. She's taking antidepressants and all that stuff. How many years did he get? I think he got hold on, because he went up for parole recently. He obviously didn't get much because I do believe he went up for parole not too long after that. Hold on, people. Let me see if I can find this. I'm pretty sure he went up for parole not that long ago. Hold on. Everyone get the likes up. Please like and share, subscribe to the channels. If you haven't done so already, click the notification bell. Here it is. Hold on. Hold on, people. Let me pull up this receipt. I thought I sent it to my email. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, QueenAShakur. Also on Instagram at divine_goddess_27. Yes, here it is right here. Now that happened in 2013, right? No parole for man who slit wife's throat, then tried to hire a hitman. And this came out in July of 2018. A man sentenced up to life in prison for slitting his wife's throat and then trying to hire a hitman while awaiting his trial has been denied parole. Christopher Lee Erdman, age 30, will not have another chance at parole until 2029. In 2013, the 30-year-old Erdman of Kaysville slit his wife's throat and then made her call 911 to say that it was a suicide attempt. But based on the evidence, Erdman was arrested and charged. His wife, Tiffany Mead, survived the attack. He then tried to hire a hitman to kill her while he was in jail. Erdman was convicted in both cases. He was sentenced to 1 to 15 years. That's all they gave him. Pay attention. 1 to 15 years for the charge of aggravated assault. For the charge of aggravated assault resulting in serious bodily injury, but then up to life in prison for criminal solicitation. A judge ordered that the sentences run consecutively. Now, a parole hearing was held in May, and that was of 2018. So the Utah Board of Pardons and Parole spokesperson, Greg Johnson, said the full 5-member board found aggravating factors of risk to public safety and victim impacts when deciding whether to grant parole. The board ordered Ertman to get updated psychotherapy evaluations and set a rehearing for 11 years. You know what? What's amazing to me is that they literally tried to, he was up for parole after only 5 years. He shouldn't have even been able or eligible to even try to get parole that fast. Okay? So that's real crazy and quite nefarious. So with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in once again to True Crimes. Queen Amadai TV presents True Crimes. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. Make sure you like and share the video. And don't forget to follow me on the other platforms, okay? And I hope to see you all right back for your spiritual vitamins, which I'm going to be doing momentarily. I'm not sure of the time, but please look out for the notifications. And don't forget to tune in to Authentic Black Goddess TV and the Queen Amadai Shakur TV show at 6 p.m. for your daily vitamins. All right. I will likely do the spiritual vitamins at about 5:30, right before the daily vitamin starts. All right. So with that all being said, Bezil said, wow, they stay on code. Yes. Talking about it couldn't be attempted murder because they don't know if he was trying to kill her or intimidate her. How crazy is that? So anyway, you all enjoy the rest of this lovely day, and I hope to see you all right back in the chats.